This episode of Power Women of the Trades is also brought to you by Forrest Perry of Forrest Perry Digital Marketing. Want to generate more leads for your service business? Trust his team to deliver quality new customer leads and protect your brand online. Check out perrymarketing.com today.
Most businesses' online presence is boring, and by being boring, they're losing out on potential sales and customers. Being interesting and exciting is what draws customers in and gets them to buy from you. But it's hard to be interesting online when you're focused on running your business and taking care of your customers. It doesn't have to be this way. We have the key to unlocking the solution to your problem. Key Hart Marketing can help take your business from boring to brilliant on social media. We can vouch for them. They run our podcast socials. If you want to have a strong social media presence that allows customers to know, like, and trust you, connect with Key Hart Marketing at keyhartmarketing.com.
Hey everyone, this is Eric Thomas with Rival Digital, and I am proud to announce that we are the newest sponsor for the Power Women of the Trades podcast. We've been a big fan and supporter of the show for years, and we are just very excited and very honored for the opportunity to now be one of the podcast sponsors. So make sure you check out their page and subscribe to the podcast and listen in on wherever you get your podcast episodes from. Rival Digital is a full-service premier digital marketing agency for the home services industry. We offer everything from website design, search engine optimization, online advertising, public relations, and more. If you're interested in learning more about the services we offer for contractors just like yourself, head on over to rivaldigital.com, and we look forward to chatting with you.
Welcome to Power Women of the Trades podcast. This show is all about breaking barriers and changing the game. Our guests will feature some of today's most successful female entrepreneurs and other advocates of our industry as well. Because if there's one thing we know for sure, female-led entrepreneurship drives change on multiple levels. We want to empower women in the trade industry like you so you can maximize your potential, stay balanced, achieve long-term success, and claim ownership over your life. Let's get started.
Welcome back to Power Women of the Trades podcast with Cassie and Kailee.
Hey.
Today we are with Jessica Passmore, who is the COO of Harts in Tacoma, Washington. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
For sure. So tell us about Harts. What is Harts?
Yeah, so Harts Plumbers, Electricians, and HVAC Technicians. We are a local trades company here in Tacoma, Washington. We do plumbing, sewer, electrical, and HVAC. So we're an all trades company serving the community. We've been here about 12 years now, and it's been a fun ride.
Awesome. So what do you do for Harts?
So I'm our chief operating officer in the trades. You'd probably call me a general manager. Everything at Harts rolls up to me, and I report to the owners of Harts. So everything from, the field side operations to marketing, accounting, finance, kind of the whole gamut.
The meat and the potatoes.
That's awesome. So how did you get started in Harts, or what drew you to start working at Harts?
Yeah, I would love to say that I've always been passionate about the trades because I'm super passionate now. But I think like a lot of people, I didn't know very much about the trades. I was, raised to believe you go to college and you work in a corporate office and that's the dream, right? And I did that for a long time. Moved out to Washington to be closer to family. I was looking for a change, and I knew the owners of Harts. And at the time, they were, 35 employees, growing really rapidly. They needed somebody who had some experience building back office teams, processes, and systems. And so I made the very big leap to go from a very large corporate company into kind of this small, locally owned company. And honestly, it was a breath of fresh air to, come out of the corporate environment and go into such a vibrant, like fast-paced, trades environment. And now, I can't imagine not working with all of these tradesmen. They're superheroes.
How long have you been with Harts?
6 years this summer.
So I always think it's interesting when someone has a story kind of like that, because it's kind of always the same of like, I never imagined it to be like this, or but then there's also people a lot of the times are like, okay, but there's still so many similarities to big corporate compared to what we're doing, right? Because at the end of the day, it's still business, right?
Yes, absolutely. Business is business. I mean, I, ran a call center in corporate, and that all, translates. It's customer service. I ran a dialysis clinic where we had nurses, and I think nurses are a lot like tradesmen. They're highly skilled, highly sought after, hardworking, and so I think it all translates.
For sure. So what size is the company now?
So we're about 130 employees at this point.
Wow. So that's a significant growth in 6 years.
Yes, it's been crazy, but really, really good. So we, our main location is in Tacoma. That's where the most of our workforce is. We've opened up a branch in Seattle, which is, 40 minutes away on a good day, quite a bit away if there's traffic. And we're looking to expand some more. So it's been really fun.
What do you think has like contributed to you guys' growth over the last 6 years?
I mean, the obvious answer is amazing people. So we have some really amazing technicians. We've got really good back office folks. We are part of a group called Nexstar. You guys have probably run into them.
We're with Nexstar also.
Yeah, awesome. So Nexstar is a really good better practice group, and it allows us all to speak the same language and show up with the customers the right way. And then we've got a good mix of people. So one of our owners is, a plumber by trade, and he really gets the trade side. Our other owner is an entrepreneur. They brought me in, and I've got a little bit of, office background and people background, and the three of us together really run after it. I think we, try fast and fail fast, and just keep moving. So
see, that's a strategy. Try fast, fail fast, or keep trying faster.
Right.
Hopefully not fail at all, but we're
not the option. And when if we do, we just try harder.
Yeah, we're not afraid to, take risks and push through. And the trades are so great because, for the most part in residential, it's COVID proof, it's recession proof. People need us and we need them. And it's been a great time.
Yeah, for sure. And do you go to super meeting with Nexstar?
I have not. Our owners go. Generally, I'm here holding down the fort while they're off. So I haven't been to super meeting. I've done a lot of different Nexstar events. We do a lot of like peer group things where we go into other shops and see what they're doing well. That's another thing that's been so great for our successes. Everybody in the industry is, at least that we know, is really open to opening up their shops and sharing, what works and what doesn't work. And so it's really helped us see, where you can get to when you go into a shop that's significantly larger than yours. And you're like, okay, that's the next goal, right?
Yeah. I asked that because at super meeting, we always have an economist speak. And I love him, first of all, but then also just commenting back on your COVID proof and recession proof. Sometimes, like, I love hearing what he has to say because he's smart and he's right. But at the other times, I have to tell myself, don't worry about this though, because we stay busy. I hear what he has to say, but I think we've proven to ourselves through the years that we know how to stay busy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can get really wrapped up in, this is happening, or it's tax season, or it's the holidays, or whatever the excuse is for why you think your call boards aren't where you want them to be, or why your sales aren't where you want them to be. But at the end of the day, we can stay busy, and we can have the best months when you think you're going to have the worst months. And so you just got to go into it, trusting the system and trusting your people and knowing we can do it.
And I don't know if you're like us, but with our BPW wrap up, almost every time that we had some bunk ass excuse as to why we couldn't do something, we had the calls and we had a conversion issue, or we had an average sell issue, or average ticket issue every time. It's just like we can come up with a million excuses, but normally it's us if there was a problem, right? And
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
you got to get on the phones and get the people in the houses, and then you got to do your job after that, right? Mm-hmm. So you've built, like I always try to say, like we've built the rapport with our community, and we've built our brand and who we are, our reputation, right? And so we just got to keep doing that. And all of the variables don't typically matter because people still go home at night and still need air conditioning and still need plumbing and still need to flip the lights on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay. So what's your company like? I hear you have an impressive amount of women.
Yeah. I mean, when I joined, the only other women in the office were a couple of CSRs and a dispatcher, which I think is typical of kind of the smaller environments a lot of times. But now I think 7 of our leaders are women. We have a female install manager, female warehouse manager, marketing, HR, accounting, and myself. So that's been really fun. Oh,
what do you think has helped that grow?
You know, that's a really good question. I think it helped having me here to start with. There were a few things that, I didn't really mind being one of the guys, but a few things that needed to shift a little bit for, people to be comfortable. But honestly, we've just seen really great talent come through. So our install manager was a dispatcher. She's really great with the guys. So we promoted her internally. And we, always just interview for talent, and that's done. But it also turns out, the guys, they really respond well to women who are, willing to get in there and have the right conversations and lead the teams. And so it's just been a really positive experience. And I think one kind of begets the other. You get one woman and then another one, and then we kind of take over from there.
It does happen like that, right? Like I asked that question and knowing like we're heavy female leadership here also. I think it started with me. I like you said, I've never hired anyone because they were a female. We actually just talked about that on a recent podcast of like, I've never been like, okay, only hiring female technicians or only hiring I have an install manager spot open and I'm only looking for a female. Like that has absolutely never been the plan. But naturally, I think people see what's possible because I was leading, I was showing what was possible. I was advocating for women in the trades. I was advocating and saying, hey, try this. And so naturally just we had more people apply. Through social media, we have female technicians that you can visibly see on social media. So our diversity as a company has grown in crazily. Is that a word? Crazily?
I don't know.
Anyways, has grown tremendously.
There you go.
Because I think we just show that we hire talent. We hire who's right for the job. And so, like our sales director, we hire, she is responsible for this year, $20 million of our business.
Yeah.
And I hired her as a CSR 5 years ago.
Yeah. I always love when we can bring somebody up through the ranks. I mean, I think that is the ideal situation, right? And I think if you, like you said, you're showing pictures on social media, you're out there. I think the more that you can foster, like, we look like everybody. There's men, women, everything else. It makes people more comfortable to jump in. We've really been trying to, like I said, we never hire, based on somebody being a woman. But we have been trying to get more females in our technician ranks. We were running academy for a long time. building up plumbers. So they would start fresh off the street. We'd put them through an 8-week program, and then put them in as apprentices, and trying to grow licensed plumbers that way. And we were always, really pushing to try to get, a couple of women in each group, because I have a few women electricians, but I feel like plumbing, it's still really underrepresented. So
Yeah, for sure. Do you think having, going back to the leadership piece of that, do you think having female leaders has helped the culture of your company?
Yeah, I think if you get any monopoly on a group, it can sway, the way things are run and how, sensitive you are to different kinds of people. Like whether you're all women or all men, I think that creates an environment where you're not necessarily getting the whole perspective. So I think it has changed. I mean, the guys had to clean up their language a little bit. They're still technicians. We let techs be techs, but they had to clean it up a little bit, but they wanted to. But I mean, things like, when I got here, the biggest crime that you could do in our office was start crying. That was like, oh my gosh, you have to go home. Like, we don't know what to do. And it's like, okay, well, sometimes people get frustrated and, tears come out. Like, it's not the end of the world. Like, it happens sometimes. And so it's mostly, I think, little things like that where it's like, okay, well, we got to understand that, there's different kinds of people and different things, and we got to be open to everybody.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's helped our dynamic for sure. Like, we're definitely, we are heavy female leaders, but we absolutely, have several men that are leaders, and having the mix has helped so much because just like, emotions are hard sometimes, and women can handle them sometimes better, where sometimes, the male leaders are like, what do you want me to do with this? What am I supposed to do? And we just like bounce off of each other better. And I think, like you said, going back before you started, it was if it's heavy or just all male leaders, it's just doesn't always seem approachable for a woman to apply, or if they're going to be right for the job. Or I think having female leaders has just really helped us grow across the board. And then now looking at like our mix, I wouldn't want it any other way. Like, we're such a solid team. And so
And I think early on too, when I saw, female leaders start to come up in the office ranks, it was like, it seemed to me like they always felt like they had something to prove, which is not necessarily the best way to get things done, right? If you're always trying to, prove that you can do the job and you can be one of the boys or whatever, you're not necessarily giving, the best side, and people aren't necessarily working together the best. And so when you can change that culture to, you don't have anything to prove, like you're here because you were the best person for the job, and we are like, this is not a boys club, this is an everybody's club. It helps to, get things done and let people be authentic and really do the work that they need to do.
Yeah. So you mentioned an academy. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and when it got started and how it's evolved?
Yeah. So it was 2002 into 2003. We had a lot of problems. I guess I won't say problems. We had opportunity here in Washington State because we have really tough licensing laws. So 3 years to become a plumber. It's a really difficult test. It's really difficult to log the hours with our state in order to get the hours to test. And so we started early on helping people by logging their hours, managing their CE requirements, like those kinds of things. But there still just weren't enough licensed plumbers out there for everybody in the market. And so we said, okay, we're going to build them. And we're going to do it better than just pulling them off the street and sticking them in a truck. Like, we're going to give them some, real base understanding. So we built a platform that has, a working toilet, a working shower, pipes, and all of that. We pulled one of our guys out of the field, and he taught an 8-week class, and we did 4 rounds of that over a couple of years. And it was really successful. And a lot of our service plumbers we have today came out of that environment. And it was a really, really great program. But I think, I don't know, the landscape has changed a little bit after COVID. There are more, it seems like more tradesmen available these days, moving in and out of shops. And we created so many of them, we didn't have room for them anymore. So we sent them out into the market, which I think is good. High tides raise all boats. But we sunsetted the program at the end of 2004. We may start it back up again. But it was a really rewarding adventure. I think, the best thing for me about the trades is that you're taking, not always, but these young men and women, and you're giving them a career that they can take anywhere forever, and, make a real living. And so that was really great. We had, I think, 10 people per class. So I think we put, roughly 40 people through the academy, and it was a really good experience.
This has been Power Women of the Trades. Like what you hear so far? Leave us a review at Apple, and make sure to listen to our other episodes wherever you enjoy listening to your podcasts. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.